Back here on CBS Sports HQ, the PGA Tour heading to the Philadelphia Cricket Club for the Truist Championship, formerly known as the Wells Fargo Championship. Looks absolutely beautiful. A $20 million purse, $3.6 million up for grabs for the winner. Rory coming in as the betting favorite, and he's had some success, a lot of success at this event, winning 4 times in his career, but there's a little bit of an asterisk next to that because it was a different course, completely differently, new name, new course, but we're seeing if Rory can defend his title, although a little bit more nuanced than that. Let's bring in Michael Breed to discuss for a Truist Championship preview. It's the first year that it's being talked about or known as the Truist Championship, formerly the Wells Fargo, and of course we have a new course, Wissahickon. So give us a course preview here, Breed, and how this differs from the previous courses that we've seen this event played in the past.
Well, I mean, Quail Hollow, which is going to host the PGA Championship next week, has pushed this event over to Philadelphia Cricket Club, which is a club that dates back to 1854. So they have had a lot of tournaments, never a Truist Championship, but they have had a number of events here. This is a golf course that's an A.W. Tillinghast golf course, and maybe you're not familiar with Tillinghast. Tillinghast has designed Bethpage Black, where we're going to see the Ryder Cup later in September. It also Tillinghast also designed Wingfoot, both of those golf courses over there, a number of golf courses in the metropolitan section. Tillinghast is known for these huge bunkers, and a lot of them, and this golf course is representative of that. 118 bunkers on this golf course. It's not very long. It's about 7,100 yards, plays at a par 70. You've got a couple of holes that are going to, as par 4s, sniff 500 yards. Those are going to be 17 and 18. Other than that, this is a golf course that's going to really provide advantage to somebody that can carry the golf ball, say 310 yards off the tee, something along those lines. The bunkers, the fairways will narrow in a little bit at that number, and then once you get it past 310 to 315, it's wide open. I think that's going to give some advantage to the players that have a lot of club head speed. But it's a golf course that really will challenge you as you get on the greens. There's a lot of undulations and elevation changes to the property as well. The greens are about 5,700 square feet, which is not necessarily small nor big. It's kind of average, but Tillinghast greens, they tend to play smaller than their size, and that means that you have to be precise with your irons. I think these players are going to have a lot of wedges coming into the greens, and that means that you're going to have to be able to control the spin rate of the golf ball. So you'll see the golf ball kind of get close to where these hole locations may be, and then all of a sudden you're going to get some spin, and that's going to pull the ball back. You've got to make sure that you're precise on your carry distances and the spin rates, and I think that this golf course will offer a great test, but don't be surprised if you see these players get to 23, 24, 25 under par by the time Sunday comes.
All right, let's get into some of the big names that are in the field and if they're going to find success here. And we keep talking about Rory going back to back, but it was when this was a different event at a different course. So you think of Rory and how he's been playing, right? Winning 2 of his last 4 starts on the PGA Tour. How does his game gel with this course? Do you think he's going to be one of those players that's going to be finding success here?
You know, it's interesting. I think he comes in this week having a lot of success this year. And really, I mean, with that Masters win, he's kind of removed a lot of pressure that he has been carrying with him for over a decade now. I think Rory comes in here almost in preparation for a PGA Championship and really just kind of verifying that he's got the shapes and shots that he's going to need at Quail Hollow, which is a place that he's had great success, as you alluded to before, the success that he has had in this tournament when it was played at Quail. So I think that he comes in here in a totally different light. It's a lot lighter situation for him, and I think that he's going to play great. It is advantageous to massive club head speeds. The shot shapes that he hits, he moves the ball primarily right to left, which will also be beneficial for him, and he hits it very, very high, one of the highest hitters of the golf ball on the PGA Tour. And I think that this golf course lends itself to a Rory McIlroy. The question is, you know, what is he trying to achieve. I don't know that he's necessarily coming in here with, I've got to win. Like, there are other players that need to have a really good week. I don't think Rory McIlroy needs to have a good week. I think it's more of a preparation for this PGA Championship that's coming up next week. And so I kind of feel like Rory's playing with, the house's money here, and I think he's going to have a wonderful week. I think he's going to freewheel it, and that's why I say don't be surprised if you see him at the end of this week getting to that 25 under par, because he is so free with what goes on. This golf course is going to set up beautifully for Rory and all of those players that are long hitters.
Yeah, I was going to say, for Rory, I don't think we're going to have to see a week where he needs to win after completing the career Grand Slam and getting the Masters for quite some time. Rory is good to go for now. But what about Xander Schauffele? Is he a guy in your eyes that needs to find success? He's looking for his 4th straight top 20 finish. What would it take for him to get inside the top 20 and maybe beyond that, top 5, potentially win? What would it take for Xander to get there?
Well, I think it's going to fall right on his driver. You know, when he has played well, he's driven the ball well this year. It hasn't been a great year for him so far. The statistics don't really support that Xander is on form as he was last year. And the consistency that he had last year, he's not had this year. But he kind of, with the injury, got a late start coming into the 2025 season. I think he's going to have a much better week with the driver in his hand. And I think this golf course, because it's not really a tree-lined golf course, is going to offer that to him. But I think he's going to have to find some fairways with that club. And I also think, too, he's going to have to respond with the putter. The iron play is really quite good, but the driver and the putter have not been great. They've gotten better of late, but they haven't been great. And I think that what he needs to do this week is, I do think that he needs to have a top 5, maybe top 10 finish. Give it a little bit of a chance. Maybe if he comes away with a win, great, obviously. But if he can put himself in position on Sunday to have some meaningful shots on that back 9 on Sunday, I think that'll be an important thing for Xander to confront himself with those challenging emotions that come along with having a chance to win. So I think a top 5, top 10, I think that's going to be an important one for him. I think if he goes out there and he has a bad opening round and doesn't do anything in the second round and he kind of is a non-starter, I think that's going to be a problem for him. It's an much more important week for Xander this week than it is for Rory McIlroy.
Breed, we certainly appreciated breaking down and previewing some of the big storylines that we have on deck for the Truist Championship. And right now, getting a look at the odds to win it all. Of course, things could change, but Rory McIlroy, he comes in as the betting favorite at plus 450. Roy is technically trying to go back-to-back. Of course, he won this last season when it was the Wells Fargo Championship at Quail Hollow. Now it is at the Philadelphia Cricket Club, and for the first time, we're calling it the Truist Championship. Colin Morikawa, 14-1. Xander, we were just talking about him and what needs to happen for him to get a 4th straight top 20 finish, potentially more, top 10 or top 5. He's coming in at 16-1. JT, 18-1, and Patrick Cantlay, might have a Patrick Cantlay play for you coming up here in just a bit. So let's get to the betting side of things with our betting analyst, Mike McClure. Mike, always good to see you. We're going to start off strong here with your picks to win. Who do you like?
It's Patrick Cantlay here, Jacqueline. I think Patrick Cantlay is a guy that's just simply been lurking. He hasn't flashed the real upside so far this season, but he hasn't really had a bad week overall. When you talk about the worst finish, T36, I think this is a perfect setup for him. When you get to the Northeast, he's very comfortable on putting surfaces like this. He's just long enough off the tee. 8th in total strokes gained, 7th on approach. He's been gaining on approach and off the tee consistently over the last 5 events. I like Patrick Cantlay here at 20-1. I made the number 15-1. Give me Cantlay right here to win.
All right, let's get to the DFS angle. And we're targeting 2 guys who are right there neck and neck when it came to the Masters, in Justin Rose and Rory McIlroy. What kind of value are you finding on these guys from a DFS angle?
You know, Rory is just simply a price point play, Jacqueline. He's too cheap for the field. We're talking about a limited field, guaranteed 4 rounds, and then you remove a guy like Scottie Scheffler that really should impact Rory's pricing, and it simply did not in this tournament. And then Justin Rose, way too cheap here. We don't have a lot of data on this golf course as far as how it's going to play. That is something that I like a veteran like Justin Rose, just simply a guy that is out there grinding, has played a ton of golf in his career. I like what I've I've seen from him. He's actually 10th in total strokes gained in this field. But the thing that stands out to me with Justin Rose is the putter. He has been very, very good and consistent with that putter. I like Rose and McIlroy here in DFS.
All right, so what about best bet overall for the Truist Championship? What do you like, M squared?
Going back to the same bet the last several weeks, it's Daniel Berger in a top finish market. I like him top 20 here. I think that Berger at plus 130 is extreme value. I made this minus 110. If you look at his results and just simply remove the name, he is 5th in total strokes gained in this field. I'm someone who really adjusts my sample sizes on individual golfers. When I look at what he's done over the last 10 weeks, I'm looking at that way more than his entire body of work from, say, a year and a half. I think that he's absolutely dialed in here. The only knock is the driving distance, but every other category just consistently gaining strokes throughout the bag. Give me Daniel Berger here, top 20 at plus 130.
All right, Mike, we certainly appreciate it getting us those best bets for the Truist Championship. First year with the new name. Formerly, we know this event as the Wells Fargo Championship. And for more winning picks, especially for golf, make sure you check out the Early Wedge. You can download, follow, listen wherever you listen to your favorite podcast, or you can make it easy. Watch right now and scan that QR code on your screen.